Hello and welcome to Nerdarchy for Nerds by Nerds. I'm Nerdicus Dave, and as usual, I'm joined by this nerd.
Nerdarchus Ted, how are you doing this fine and lovely evening, sir?
Good. I've come ready to ambush you with questions.
That's what I have heard. Thankfully, I did a little bit of research as to what this whole D&D tag thing is.
Yeah, honestly, like I knew about it and decided to do it. But I didn't do much research. So, as I fixed Ted in his frame because he moved on this son of
I'm
a bitch.
sorry. I I only saw my screen. There was too much ceiling, so I had to.
Yeah, yeah. I'll murder you later.
Yeah,
Um, No, Nerdarchy does not condone murder in any way, shape, or form, unless we're talking about the fictional kind, like in Dungeons and Dragons and other role playing games. Yeah. So I saw the original video that Ginny D put up, and I watched her video where she had Mark on, which was cool. And then I was like, oh, this is kind of cool and novel, and didn't think about it again. And then one of the staff authors, Stephen Partridge, had invited Robin, another staff author or writer, to do it, and then said, "Hey, does anyone else want to do it?" I'm like, "Sure, I'll come hang out with you guys and chat about nerdy stuff. Why not?" So I did it over on Steven's channel, and he's like, "Can we tag Ted and you guys do a video?" I'm like, "Sure," and I was like, the fastest way for us to get a video up about this would be for me to do it here, and not have it go up in a couple weeks. So I was like, we will do it here. And so it linked in the description, we've got the questions that Ginny D asks, and there's a link to the video that I answer the questions on. Obviously, we'll answer them here. And also, if you go, go search out Mark Humes and Ginny D, you Google them, they will come up easy enough. Or if you YouTube them, they'll come up easy enough. And I recommend you go check them out. They are lovely people.
indeed.
So, sir, have you come ready to answer questions?
So I have I as much of a D&D nerd as I am, I've got a lot of these things that I've already had put some thoughts to. I don't remember all of the questions, and I'm not scrolling to be able to look at them ahead of time. So I'm going to answer the best I can based on whatever my level of preparedness is.
And folks, if you want to answer too, you can right in the chat. Feel free. All right, Ted. Don't worry, you will be graded on this. I'm just messing. First question: what was your first D&D character?
All right, so this one is one of those that's right off the bat a totally embarrassing situation.
Well,
Like the
I will say one thing real quick because you said it was an embarrassing situation, dude. When I did this with Robin and Steven, they had these super deep answers. I did not. So don't
you
feel
had like
bad.
Derek Woodstock or something like that, right? That was your guy.
Yeah, yeah. Are you
So
stalking me?
no, I
You
just
freak.
we've been talking about D&D stuff for a long time, and I don't think I've ever really shared this particular story. If I go through like the Wayback Machine, you know, I don't remember his name, but I know I had like a Wemmick Ranger or Remick, however it's pronounced, but the Lion Centaur that I was just like totally liking. My first serious character was an Athasian, um, fighter, Thasian elf fighter, and I played him for a really long time. But the very first character, before there was any real grasp of the rule set, before there was any, let's roll stats and actually have a legitimate, campaign where there's a dungeon master behind the screen and all of that. It was around the time that there was a movie that I had not seen until much, much later called Dark Man. So I was told by people who are playing this game that will remain anonymous because I don't want to embarrass them, if they happen to actually stumble upon this. But like the anti-paladin was the strongest thing. So I had a anti-paladin named Darkman, and when we pulled out maps and we played the game, characters just kind of flowed. There was no set uh, who is the DM, who is not the DM. because if you were the DMPC would follow along. So it was just utterly crazy. It was just narrative power gamey kind of nonsense.
So the answer is Darkman, the
Yes,
anti-paladin.
Darkman the anti-paladin, utterly
Did he have
ridiculous.
a race?
I believe he was just human.
Human. Well, number two, which D&D class is your least favorite to play, or do you not want, to play?
Yeah, this is one of those that I looked at, and I really don't have anything that falls into the I don't want to play it. I think there's enough fun and enjoyment in all of them, and I enjoy all aspects of this game. So like, there's none that's nothing, and I would be hard pressed to figure out what is the least appealing. Um, I feel like there have been times, even within the realms of fifth edition, that there's been something that I find, uh, as it draws me in, because there's so many subclasses with fifth edition to be able to say, oh well, I'm gonna go and gravitate towards this one or gravitate towards that one.
Yeah, I mean, at least if it was like third edition or or previous, you could be like Bard. But now, now
Well,
it's tough, man. They're all fairly well balanced and fun to play.
even with Bard in third edition, I think towards the tail end they released a martial Bard, and as you're well aware, back then I was very heavy bent on the martial characters. My tastes have evolved since then or changed. I don't want to insult anyone, but I prefer more cerebral characters these days to just I want to hit things with a weapon. Uh, but to each their own.
I still like hitting things with a weapon. So, what D&D spell would you most want to have in real life?
So there's a lot of answers to this question, and I'm not going to spoil Ginny B's answer because it's a pretty darn good one, and Mark says so as well.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
So it really, to me, depends upon a handful of particulars. Number one, things that have a expensive component, are those things kind of like, oh, do you have those, or like, are they outside the realm? Like 1,000 gold piece agate to cast awaken. Like, yeah, that tree in my yard, that would be cool if I could talk to find out, like, oh, is it actually healthy? Is this natural? Because I'm not an arborist. I'd like to know. You could do all kinds of cool stuff of, like, hey, you want to talk to your pets legitimately? Boom, here you go. But then you can totally go on the evil side of things. And like, man, you know what? Dominate person. That would solve so many things. But that's pretty darn evil in today's society. Of just
Today's society, what society was it okay in?
Okay, all right. Well, this is where we live. So it's evil to just completely bend someone to your will. So like, I don't think that one would work. So for a while I was sitting on, all right, what if I just go like the epitome of lazy, and I'm going to take unseen servant. And I thought about that one for a while, and how great it would be. Just like, I don't feel like washing the dishes. Boom, you go do that. You've put away my laundry. I think that would be utterly great to be able to have this magical servant be able to take care of things around the house. So that's my runner up. But
I just want a butler.
that would be great. But my real thing that I'm going to go with is enhance ability. It's a
Oh,
low enough level spell, and it covers a lot of territory.
okay,
So
okay.
you're going to go into a diplomatic situation. Okay, well, let's go with buffing up some charisma. You got to test the study for, or you want to boof up some creativity. Boom, there's a reason. There's a thing for that. You want to paint some minis and really get the fine detail in there. All right, there's a call for that. Oh, you're going to do some kind of athletic event, or you're going to go, work out. Boom, there's a thing for that. So I think that one covers a lot of territory. So I thought about that one for a while, and that's the one I'm going with.
Nice. On the surface, that does seem like a very good one. But it does make me think of one thing. It makes me more likely to succeed at things or do better at things within the scope of my ability. So I'm like, ugh, like still, we're within the scope of my abilities. I don't know how much it would help me.
Well,
I'll only speaking for myself, no one else. Number 4, what's your favorite D&D monster?
my favorite D&D monster. This one has probably gotten the most air on our channel for the longest time, and to this day, I still love the Displacer Beast. I've always had an affinity towards felines, towards cats. I like the weird. I like things that are a little out there. And then from the old Spectrum, the old Monster Manual, they had like these glowing green eyes, and at least at the tables that I played in, their eyes glowed after, even after they were dead. So like, we frequently harvested them. This is where the cloak of displacement comes from. So like, there's so many cool things about the Displacer Beast. So I've always dug them. I've haven't always worked them into all of my games, but there's definitely a fondness there. But I tend to go towards the more traditional D&D monsters. I love the Boule, I love the Mimic, but nothing is going to supplant the Displacer Beast from the top.
I mean, you've got more legs than something should have, glowing eyes, tentacles,
Tentacles.
where you can't go wrong, The Displacer Beast is pretty awesome. Time of Troubles, I believe, in that trilogy, there's a pretty good Displacer Beast encounter in there. It's reaching back a bit. What's your
Yeah.
favorite NPC slash villain that you've encountered created?
Yeah, this one I've thought long and hard, and I don't think there's anything that has ever really, uh, you know, stood the test of time. Something that's created long ago that is held throughout the different editions. So I just basically look to what has been created in fifth edition, within the realm of what has been made for Nerdarchy. And there's really only two that I've created that I felt resonated with the players, to actually gain any kind of notoriety. Um, and both of them are in Griffin Gaff. Both of them, I believe, have.
Oh, wait a minute. Is it Acelin the Eyeless Seer?
No, well, I didn't create them.
It says
That's not.
encountered or created.
Oh well, no, but you've got Evan Wind, the baker, and he's got the place that's got the good bread, and that is permeated the campaign and into other campaigns, and it was honestly just a kind of a throwaway thing. But I don't know whether he counts, because that's been like, not, that hasn't really gone into conversational. It's just the place in passing, the place that everybody has to go to. So I guess like the real winner, and maybe this is the
I will
safest.
say you guys did talk to Evan Wynn, because you guys interrogated him
We
when his
interrogated.
place burned down.
Okay. But I don't think I've ever really run him, for uh, a diplomatic encounter, or through a conversation. But I'd have to
Mm.
say Analasalar, and whether it's the sadist in me that likes the fact that I created this guy who was such a staple, and you hate those elven names that I make that have more
I don't think I
syllables.
hate them as much as you think I hate them.
Oh well, you've grumbled about it quite a bit. Uh, for the first 6 months to a year, you couldn't figure out what it actually was. You were always saying it wrong.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So, but I thought, he had a lot of cool interactions
Just call him Annie.
between him and Uthengar, and him and a lot of other characters throughout the many campaigns. He was definitely a fun character to interact with.
So, has one of your characters ever died, and what killed them?
Yes, I have had
Dave, numerous times.
numerous character deaths. Many brought along by, as Dave says himself. Years ago, Dave and Steve were our primary DMs, and we ran quite a lot. Um, I've actually, the most memorable death had to be Grevin, and we've actually had a Nerdarchy fan reach out who was, getting into sculpting and wanted to actually sculpt figures for the Nerdarchy crew. So he actually made actually a pair, because he was a second edition Duragar psionicist back then, and they actually, psionics was the closest thing to what fifth edition has now with subclasses, because you had whatever your school of psionics was, and he was a psychometabolist, which meant it was all about his physical body doing things to make changes, to heal and that kind of stuff. But there was an ability called animal affinity, that he could transform his body into a more scorpion-like thing. So he grew giant pincers and a tail and what have you. But Grevin the Beardless One, a dark dwarf who'd had his all of his hair burned off his face as part of his backstory. So there was no beard, there was no hair. But I played him for a while. The first real serious long-term game with, the group that later become Nerdarchy. And I was utterly distraught. I'm not gonna deny that I didn't need cry and get laughed at for crying for my first.
I didn't think you cried. I thought you almost cried.
I think you guys, said I cried.
I think you almost cried, but we might have said you actually cried.
Oh, okay. Well,
because we were kind of dicks.
I don't remember the specifics, but I know I definitely had to get up and leave the table.
You needed a moment. That's all right. It was your first character death. These things.
That was my first of many. There were many other characters that died. I had a character that was based off of one of my favorite movies, Princess Bride. It was Inigo Montoya. So I had Montoya, the swashbuckler, and I believe this was a third edition game. And we just
buddy, I only asked for one death, and I didn't ask for all of them.
Oh, I was gonna share.
Settle down. We're gonna be here a long time if you start. If you go through every character that's died here.
Well, are we getting close to the end? And it's only
we're not even halfway yet.
Oh, okay, all right. Well then, long story short, that dude died in a TPK because we just pushed the DM, and it was like 2:30 in the morning, and Dave's like, "I warned you not to keep going. Campaign's over."
So number 7, what's your best natural 20 story?
So this one, I like so many others, I don't think the natural 20, I think the best story really falls into a mine or even a D&D story. And we were play testing Open Legend, which is a game of exploding dice, with Brian Feaster, Dave, and at the time, Nerdarchist Ryan. And, exploding dice is when you roll the maximum number on the die, you keep that, roll again, and add them together. So however many explodes you get, it all stacks. So on a roll of a 20, Nerdarchist Ryan rolled a 71. He rolled 20, 20, 20, and then an 11. And like the look on everyone's face was just like amazed that it just happened in front of us. It was utterly fantastic. It wasn't anything important, but the fact that it was within succession was just utterly amazing.
Yeah, that's the actual best part, is the fact that it was for kind of an inconsequential role. So number 8, what's your best Nat 1 story?
Oh my God. I try to, despite the fact that I've, described a couple of character deaths, I do try to like think more on the positive aspect of things. Um, so I'm just gonna have to try and remember, a one where something actually transpired because of it within recent memory. And over on mini terrain domain with Dawnbringers, natural ones have the ability to actually result in something bad, depending upon what you're actually doing and whether there's something that could go wrong. And uh, it was nothing devastating, nothing drastic, but Thorgarn, my dwarven barbarian, has a dwarven thrower, and I rolled a natural one on an attack. And rather than just oh, I missed, and just move on, the DM looked at all of the pieces of the puzzle, and he's like, huh, that's within proximity of another character, happens to be the Clockwork Wizard. Go ahead and make an attack roll, see if you hit Fig. And I'm like, oh, I of course hit. I do a crap ton of damage. It's not good because
Did you smite?
throw. No, you can't smite on a throw. You have to be within melee. Uh, but it just sucks. Hurting party members. And the dwarven thrower does more damage when you throw it than if you just use it in melee.
Here, hit points are a resource. So number 9, what's the highest level you've ever played a character to?
All right, so this one I'm excited to talk about because while some of our older viewers who were around watching the old games back then might be aware, I've actually run a 40th level 5th edition character. It was a game that was pitched by a Nerdarchy fan of like, hey, I want to run an encounter against 3 Tarrasques. It was 3 players, 3 Tarrasques. Every character was 40th level, but you couldn't multi-class outside of 2 classes. You had to just pick 2 classes. Boom, you're level 20 in both. And at the time, the Weapon Master Monk, the Kensai, sorry, and I believe the Scion was all in UA. So like everything I played was playtest. And I played a halfling that I grew to like monstrous proportions. I was like legitimately huge, punching as I started off small and I'm now huge, punching and beating the crap out of things. It was a spectacular game. It was a great story. You can go find the game on the original Nerdarchy channel somewhere. I don't know exactly where or even what it was called, but it was definitely
Just start at the beginning and watch all the videos.
You could always do that. That'd be
You'll
great.
get to it eventually. So, what is your favorite magic item? Question number 10.
So this one, goes through changes. There's lots of things that are powerful that players tend to look for and to seek out. But the more powerful it is, the rarer it's going to be, and the harder it is to get. So I look for things that tend to be a lot more fun. I love the Hat of Disguise. I like the Cloak of Billowing. You get to do so much with it. Doug ran a game at the Cleveland Concoction, and I totally had both of those items and was just having a flipping blast with it with my Goblin Fighter. But more recently, I was playing a game, and I got to just again, just randomly, not randomly pick, but I got to pick magic items up to a certain thing. And I was looking for something in the uncommon slot, and I came across the Bag of Tricks. And I gotta say, I totally love the Bag of Tricks. If you're willing to just throw out exactly what's written and play with it as the item has a theme to it. So with the arc is over now, so I can kind of spoil. But my clockwork druid had a bag of tricks, and the entire party was clockworks. So my character, the druid, he was created with a avian theme. So like everything that I tried to do was kind of bird-like. So all of my creatures in the bag of tricks, number one, as opposed to them being fuzzy balls, they were like bits of cogs and gears. And when I would drop it down, it would totally do like the transformer thing and sound and all. But regardless of whatever stat block correlated to what I rolled, I turned it into something avian. So like the giant hyena is size large. So I'm like, could it just be an owlbear? That's sort of avian. When I pulled out, something else, it was like small. I'm like, oh, can that be an axebeak? Or can that be like a war ostrich or, what have you? So like I had all of these things like prepped and planned, to be able to take that and use that thing with just that spread. So much so that I actually went and put the same item in as a reward for my game to you guys, but the bag actually has like snake scales on the outside, and everything inside, is scaly. And when you pull it out, again, use the same stat block, but it's a serpent.
It attacks the party.
Yeah. Well, so it's it's great to be able to take those kinds of things and put a little bit of twist on them. So currently, I'm digging the bag of tricks.
So number 11, if you had an in real life alignment, what would it be?
So on the original video, like there was definitely some kind of talk back and forth about what things are and what things were, and I think I have bounced most of my life, between lawful good and neutral good. Alignment is one of those weird things that we've talked about on the channel, that it's not easy. You're not locked in and you cannot stray, from the things. Am I the kind of person that I do the socially acceptable thing of returning the shopping cart to the appropriate places? Yes, but I do it not because it's like a law thing. I do it because it's going to help out everyone else that happens to be going to that shopping center. I don't want the cars being dung, or people having issues. So it's the nice thing. So to me, that really falls there. I'm generally a good guy.
So number 12, if you had to date one of your characters, which one would you pick?
So I haven't played, whole lot of characters that fall into the female perspective. And that is the direction I go. If you're looking away from, gender things, I really don't know. This is one of those that, when they asked the question, I didn't really have an answer, completely forgot about it. So I was not very prepared for this one. But I had whatever the early edition of Dragonborn or Dragon-esque characters named Gold Dragon. And that was the only female character I ever remember, making as a PC. So I don't know. I'm just going to have to leave that one, vague, or, that.
It always comes back to dragon boobs with you, doesn't it?
I guess so, man. You got to keep throwing that at me.
So number 13, if there's a character you want to play but haven't had a chance to play yet.
That I haven't had a chance to play. Well, do you have about an hour? Because I can pull up my D&D Beyond account and show you all of the things that I've made that I would love to.
Wait a minute. What would be a shorter list? Your D&D Beyond account or your Hero Forge account?
Oh, see, well, Hero Forge happens to be like when I've made the character and there's a chance of playing. So there's
Yeah.
definitely far less things in Hero Forge than there is in D&D
All right,
Beyond.
let's pick one from that list then. The short list.
So I look at D&D Beyond and I look at, our list of CBGs, and I might be giving something away here. Um, and when we talk about this character in the CBG video, we tell people this is probably not a good character to play, but this was something that I enjoyed creating. So I would totally like to play the Know It All build.
Character. It's up on the channel. People can check it
Okay.
out.
You're the one that handles the releases, so sometimes I don't always pay attention enough to
Yeah, yeah.
know.
So Ted mapped that one out, but for the most part, and I will tell you that they did point out they could get all the skills in 3 levels less, but your love of the half elf prevented it. Human with skilled get you there at 6th level instead of 9th.
Well, human and half elf are one of those things that we use them a lot, and the half elf winds up getting a nicer stat split to go along with it. Eh, you know, I can deal.
Number 14. I think I know the answer to this one. Are you a dice goblin or a dice minimalist? You're a minimalist, aren't you, Ted? You don't even like dice at all.
No, I don't like dice at all. The fact that I had 3 more sets show up today. No, I'm a click clack goblin. Hands down. I don't have a spot for it, but I've got enough dice that I'm now calling where my tower is the dice shrine. I've begun getting, what do you call it? Basically like plastic container to sort out. So all of my sets that are together are literally just like in these, uh, in the container. So like, oh, if I want to use just this set, I don't have to go find all the little, things. Boom, I reach in, I grab that one set and go. I've even started I have a separate one that just has Critical Role dice in it because they've been releasing sets related to, the Vox Machina characters with their character icon on the D20. Um, I have to find out whether they haven't released Scanlan or there was a problem, but I don't have that one. They're all the
That's a limited edition special die set of dice.
maybe.
You're gonna have to buy them for like $1,000 on eBay.
Well, my if that happens, I don't have $1,000 to put towards a single set of dice. I was crazy enough to buy the Sapphire set, but
You did buy the Sapphire set.
I did buy the Sapphire set. I was
Man,
yeah.
That's a nice Christmas present to yourself.
It came out a while ago. I don't remember,
Yeah. Is that like $300 set of dice?
that's exactly what it cost. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Nice. Well, maybe it'll be a collector's item and it'll go up in value.
There's a hope.
We only have one question left.
Oh man.
What rule or mechanic have you never quite wrapped your brain around?
So when I'm a DM, I tend to be able to have a better grasp of the rules. When I'm sitting as a player, it happens pretty frequently if the possibility comes up. And Dave himself has totally called me on it. Concentration. I know the rules. I know how it works, but I screw it up more times than not. Knowing that
I just chalk it up to cheating.
it's not cheating. So like in earlier editions, like there was no, you just cast spells and they had durations and what have you. And because I've spent a lot of time playing and not a lot of time, playing characters that had spells that were, you're going to cast these things together. You just can't do that. So like, even though my first long-term character was a cleric, I specifically wasn't taking concentration spells. I know that I could cast Spiritual Weapon and Spirit Guardians at the same time because one was concentration, one wasn't. And if you were to ask me right now, I could not tell you which one was which. I'm going to guess Spirit Guardians is concentration and Spiritual Weapon is not, but I would not put money on it. When I played in those bastards, literally like 2 or 3 times in one session, I kept double casting. The other night, I cast a spell with my druid, and I took damage. DM didn't call, oh, make a concentration check, because I had, call lightning going. Took damage a second time. And I'm like, oh crap, I didn't make a concentration check. So like I quickly made 2 in succession and messaged the DM and said, hey, I passed this, but it's the closest thing I have to a 5th edition mechanic that I don't always properly do. And it's not because I'm trying to cheat. It's not because I don't fully understand. I just, I'm not super intelligent. I don't remember to like, okay, I gotta do these things. Theater of the mind, there's not a little concentration marker on my character. Oh, you took damage, do this thing. I just don't do a lot involving concentration. And it's, through lack of experience that this comes up.
I didn't like this question. I know I answered it, but I don't like it because it's like, I don't know. I've been playing this game for a long time, and I feel like I got a fairly decent grasp of the rules. In 3rd edition, it was far more complicated. 2nd edition, it was far more vague, and like 5e is like a nice mix.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And I was just like, I just feel like arrogant to be like, no, I've mastered all the rules. None of them elude my know-how.
Well, I wanted to give some kind of answer.
Yeah.
I'm not perfect. I'm definitely going to screw things up. Like I said, when I plan my villains, I know like, okay, these are the steps that I'm going to do. And if I'm going to break a rule, I'm going to have reasons for why I'm breaking the rules. But as a player, you can't just break the rules unless the DM gives you an out. And so with that, like, all right, clearly I've screwed up concentration enough that falls in the closest to this question.
Yeah. So a simple role play. I thought they asked us a question. Oh yeah, how can I GM a game for you? It's definitely not out of the realms of possibility, especially when the end times end and we like show up at conventions and stuff. We've been known to pop in games or run games for sure. So I don't know. So I think at this point we're supposed to tag somebody, right? At some point we're supposed to find somebody and ask them to do the tag, the D&D questions.
Well, I mean, you've got, quite a number of, YouTuber buddies that you've,
we do know a lot of people in the community, but the question is, I don't know, in the chat, like, who do you think we should tag? Especially if it's like someone on Twitter where it's like easy for us to tag them on Twitter or whatever. Like, hey, we did this thing. You should do it too. But yeah, I don't know, it was fun. I liked answering the questions. Like I said, in the description and the pin comment, there's the questions, and also you can check out me, Robin, and Steven doing them. It was a lot of fun. But I always enjoy hanging out with those folks anyway.
I'm gonna have to go follow those links and see all the answers.
Less than an hour between the 3 of us. So also, I mean, I guess in news too, they've revealed early the next book for D&D. I also put a link to what we believe that book is going to be. We're fairly certain. It still doesn't say it on Amazon, but the Amazon link is in the description for Candlekeep Mysteries, which is going to be 17 adventures, all mystery based, I guess. So that should be interesting to see what's involved with that. The fun part will be like to see how many people we know that have written adventures in it, Or maybe they went a different direction and they got like all celebrity GMs to do it,
That would be cool.
like that ran Wolf and
Deborah Wall, you mean?
Wall. That's what I meant.
Not Wolf.
Yeah. Wolves are cooler than walls.
Yeah, but Deborah's, pretty cool people being on Daredevil and playing Twiggy on Critical Role, as well as, lots of other things that, they were involved with. But those are the things that were, pretty big to me.
Oh, we got all kinds of good things dropping. Taking 20, Runesmith, Ryan, the former nerd artist. I gotta like that one.
I was gonna say, we should, given his proclivity towards humor, I would have said Jacob from XP to level 3.
Oh yeah, Professor Dungeon Master Professor Dungeon Master with Dungeon Craft. Those are all great suggestions. I think if Nurkish Ryan does it, he's got to make a one of his art dials for each one of the questions. Though.
I think that's probably a little bit more work than he's prepared to do.
You're probably right, but whatever.
Given how much work goes into each and every one of those little things.
Yeah, well, he's my youngest brother, and I like to torment him. So, Trent Monk. So yeah, I'll look through the comments and we'll tag somebody. Maybe tag them all. I don't know.
I don't think that's the way it's supposed to work. You're supposed to grab one person.
I don't know how any of this works, man.
How's this internet work?
Oh, Stephen Dow Kingsmill was also a great one. Oh, I know who you're talking about, Doug. So we had a YouTuber on from Israel. He was a great guest. I don't remember his name off the top of my head, but if I go back to the list, I could definitely pull it up and I know who it is. I just need to see it because it's terrible. One of the great things about doing all the live chats is meeting a bunch of different people. One of the bad things is my brain sucks. So. And my ability to remember things is not great.
Got a call for Questing Beast. Oh, Steven's saying we're only 5 away from the 1K.
Yeah, we're getting closer and closer. I think if he refreshes though, it might show that we're 4 away. Exciting. That part is weird because we never had to meet the requirements the first time around. Yeah. Although I was like, maybe we lost one since the time I refreshed. Happens sometimes too.
So, while we've got 17 minutes left, I will throw out there as a reminder that tomorrow night we will not be streaming. This is another week off before we start my new game next week, Dungeons and Delving. And now that I'm talking, I realize I've got 8 days to be properly prepared for a whole new campaign that I've not done.
Do you feel prepared?
Enough work. But we're setting a new game set in the future. We're using the 5th edition rule set, taking a break from Cypher, getting back to D&D. But the characters are going to be essentially people on a reality competition show set in, the future world where they're going through dungeons, for fame, glory, and fabulous prizes. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited and nervous at the same time. I've never done a game like this before. So yeah.
What are you nervous about, man?
That I'm not gonna have prepared the right stuff, or that my concepts are not going to fit within the allotted time frame, that I've done so much hype on it that you guys are like, okay, I'm excited, and I totally dropped the ball and you guys think it sucks, and yeah, all of that.
I don't think that'll be the case at all.
Well, I mean, that's a lot of times that's how my brain tends to go until I get to okay, we're live, and then I just go and see what happens, and usually everybody has fun. So
I think there's going to be a lot of that. Everybody having fun.
well, it is a great group, and I don't think that you guys are going to kick me out of the chair or any of that kind of stuff. I just want it to fit within the 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 box that I pitched to you guys,
Uh
and not only that the four of you as players enjoy the game, but that the viewers who are going to watch and enjoy are going to enjoy it as much as you guys. So yeah, I'm hardest on myself. I understand this. It's part and parcel of every time I'm starting a new game. I go through it.
gotcha. You know, I think I think what's gonna happen is you're gonna like prepare for stuff and be like, we're gonna do this, and then you're like, "Ah, you guys never even went into the dungeon. You were disqualified."
Well, you know what? Even if that were to happen, I think with the setting that I have in my head, not that so much has been put out there, I could certainly take the story elsewhere if need be. So I, I'm confident enough in my GMing skills that if the S hit the fan, so to speak, I could make stuff happen, and you guys are all amazing enough players that you would do amazing things anyway. So, like I said.
Well, we're definitely gonna do part of that. We're gonna do things. I don't know if we're gonna be amazing or not, but we're gonna do things, and I'm sure we'll amuse ourselves. Simple role play. What do you think of Evil Hat's game on Kickstarter, Thirsty Lesbian Swords? That's I don't think that's on Kickstarter anymore. It was a while ago, right? Seems like
uh,
forever ago.
I remember seeing the name, but I don't believe I ever really looked at that. I don't really know what to take with a name like that.
I checked. I remember looking at the Kickstarter and because I'd seen it shared or somewhere as it showed up. Um, I do like Evil Hat games for one,
Mhm.
right? So there's that, and I definitely looked at it, and it's kind of got like this crazy, fun art to it. It's like reminds me of like some techno '80s kind of stuff. Uh, but I don't actually know what the mechanics are and stuff like that. So I don't know. I was like, wow, that's a thing.
So,
There's
Chris, yes, there is a little bit of similarity between what I'm doing in the Running Man, except as opposed to the characters being criminals trying to forego their sentence. These are people who have signed up, put their life on the line, so to speak, to win fame and glory and fabulous prizes. Uh, who doesn't want the crystal wave oven? I mean, come on, it's the new hotness. So there's definitely some of that, but it's not so much the game's champions going against you. As there'll be monsters, whether they're real or whether they're digital, who knows? There'll be hazards, whether they're just a regular thing or hey, magic is literally being laid against you. Who knows? Hopefully, the players will be able to figure it out.
hopefully it will just be able to survive. It'll be fun. I mean, have you figured out like a scoring system?
No, nope. I've got some ideas working in my head. Um, One of those is just randomly rolling dice and seeing what happens for the other teams. Uh, some of it is just I'm gonna pull numbers out of my head and then make the story match. Um, it's definitely going to be more of a system than a whose line is it anyway, where the points don't matter. Um, but I've got, like I said, I've got a week to really nail something down, and no other games between now and then that I need to DM. So I should be fine.
So, I mean, so you're using Xcrawl for a little bit of a resource, right?
I do have the book. I have looked through. It has not given me as much you know detail as I was really looking for. Um, I've got X crawl and I've got this guy that have given me some fun things to play with. Um,
Yeah. So there's no like scoring system in Xcrawl.
not that I saw. I'd have to give it another breeze through
Because
to really
to
see.
me, it feels like if you're gonna have like if it's a game, right? That seems like one of the first things I would come up with if I was the designer. I'd be like,
Mhm.
okay, so like if this is a game and a competition, how do you know if you won or not, right? Unless you're literally doing it's like okay, whoever reaches X goal first, but the kind of the problem with that is if you're not going to DM all the different contestants, you're going to DM the players.
Mhm.
So like knowing how well they did, I think would work best off of some kind of scoring system, rather than like a capture the flag or get to this point kind of objective.
So I mean that is a thought to consider.
So let's
Uh,
see, let's workshop this a little bit. We got a little bit of time, right? So you got treasure, right? That could definitely affect point totals. Overcoming hazards,
yep.
overcoming monsters,
Hmm.
and how long the run takes. Uh,
Now the process in that, is like I would have to be like, all right, everything would have to be going by round scenario. The concept of, oh well, if characters decide that they want to take a short rest in the dungeon,
mhm.
uh, I don't know, because the premise is that it's like, okay, we are doing a
Oh, that's a good point. So what you could do for short rest is they could actually minus points.
so
Like,
the idea is, it's a respite is
uh,
you know go, going to be the terminology that's used, but because it's technically pre-recorded and then aired in a uh, show the highlights scenario, all of those things are possibilities. Long rest is out. You're going to take a long rest in a dungeon, fold it, you lose that round.
you
You've got a
forfeit.
score of zero. Move on. Better luck next time, kind of thing. Um, you know, but I've looked at all of these things. And I'm trying to put together all of these things for how to score what I run with you guys, but then trying to figure out what I want to do with the other, five groups. What does that look like? How does that go? That's the real, that's the real conundrum. Um, so it's definitely some fun things to consider, and it's just trying to put together everything of doing a formula that's going to be right and fun rather than just, oh, it's numbers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, ultimately everything breaks down to numbers, but the universe breaks down to numbers and math. I don't think that really makes it. I don't think that's really a big deal because it's really like the math is going to come from the things that get done in the game. That's just a way of kind of scoring against each other. Um, like I guess like it would be figuring out like each run what is the best kind of like score you could possibly get.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it's a low score thing, right? Where the lower the score, the better. If you take short rests, it's going to add to your score. Every round that a challenge takes, maybe that's uh, you know, that increases your score as well. Which I mean, that's fairly
So
easy to track.
so Christopher Keller in the audience in the chat has got a wonderful idea. So the audience could possibly vote for the party based on their antics.
Mm,
Given the fact that it is a reality show, given the fact that it is entertainment, um, there could have been like if you look at the not Dancing with the Stars, the Masked Dancer, they have what are referred to as their premier fans or what have you. Basically, there's people who get to actually watch it live while they're actually doing it and be able to vote, as well as the people who were actually present when it was recorded. uh so there could be a system, even if it's something that I do, based on the antics that you guys do. How entertaining were you? Could be a point factor as well. I think that I really like that idea. So like, oh, you might take longer to do X, but
Mhm.
were you more entertaining for that time frame? That changes a little bit of the dynamics of it all, and actually kind of brings in some of the elements that you guys have presented as characters, and how those kind of things would shine.
Well, I mean, in a lot of those shows, that's like a part of the equation or two, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you could also do it that way, where it's not the whole equation, but it's
Right, it's part of it,
uh,
and that's honestly something that I should have been considering and haven't. Uh, so that's definitely an element that I'm glad that Chris brought up.
Chris also says the show "The Floor Is Lava" translate perfectly to D&D.
I have actually watched The Floor Is Lava. I'm gonna. I've watched it. There are possibly some elements, taken from that show that will be incorporated within.
Not the
Although,
professional tag league.
no, not definitely not going to use the term "the floor is lava." Um, Although,
Except for when, in fact, indeed, the floor is actually lava. It's
yes,
D&D after all.
it is D&D. Uh, but
First challenge, get past the lava floor.
I do believe our tagline is "Some like it hot." No, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. We have a tagline?
Uh, I don't know. I'm tossing things out there, within my writing material. I don't know what I put for something, if there may be something related to a hot environment.
Will you be wearing a 3-piece suit?
I will not be wearing a three-piece suit, although I have put together an outfit for the MC. Don't know how well I'll be able to wear the the thing while I'm actually trying to run a game. Uh, but
I guess we'll find out.
we'll find out. We've got some cool artwork that is in process, due to the lovely Stephen in the chat.
I I did post out a spoiler
Oh
image
man,
on Twitter. I do got my hat
did you
that I'll be wearing.
do you have a what do you call it? Do you have a catchphrase yet?
No, I don't.
Oh man,
It'll probably be cooking related.
do something about like can you guess what's cooking or any of that?
Maybe. I don't know. Now you're cooking with burning hands. I don't know. I'll think of something.
I don't think burning hands is a spell you want to cook with.
Listen, man. You can cook with fireball, maybe. I don't know. It's the way he does it.
If I'm gonna cook with a spell, um, I think I'm gonna cook with bonfire.
Yeah.
I think
You
that's
got
the
heat
one.
metal, man.
Yeah, bonfire I think might be a little bit more controllable.
Turn anything into a griddle.
You can turn anything into a griddle, including that dude's armor.
Yeah. Dude, stop moving. I'm trying to crack these eggs. Is that armor non-stick? What kind of armor do we need?
Dave's hat makes me think of M. Bison from Street Fighter. Wow.
That's right. I'm bringing it. Let's do a D&D cooking show, cooking with fireball.
I believe that's looking at
Mm.
the next game after mine. So
Oh man.
we got Grease, we got Fireball. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff being thrown out there now.
Yeah. So I mean, you can lay on hands and cook with shock and grasp if you're. Oh no, I guess that doesn't work. I was gonna say order the scribe, and then you can switch out your lightning damage for fire damage. I don't think you can actually do it with a cantrip. I think it has to be a spell. So, wah wah wah. Well, you know what time it is, dude.
It's past 9 o'clock, which
It is.
it means we're signing off. Dave will be back tomorrow noon with the live chat for the week.
That is true. And you can see the schedule. The schedule's up over in our community post on the Nerdarchy channel and also on Twitter. So you can see the whole lineup for the week and see who's going to be on. But with that, until next time, stay nerdy.
Stay nerdy.